We're back.
It's weird. It's weird hearing look at you with your hustle machine mug. I almost went and grabbed, but we're representing both today. Look, you got Market House over here in the top.
Let's say here. I'm gonna hand you my mug. That way it matches up.
Oh,
coming through in the clutch.
Oh, yes. Nice. All right. Nice. Bravo. I just got to say that the timing was perfect. And it looks like I'm a little laggy, but maybe it'll straighten out.
No, you're good.
In a few minutes.
You're good.
Okay. Yes, we're back. It's weird hearing the Winject music again without the hustle machine.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to hearing the hustle machine now. It's like it throws me off a little bit. But if you guys are new here, I'm Zack. This guy over here. Wait.
You're pointing the wrong way now.
Keep pointing the wrong way. This guy over here is Jason. We are we're the host of the Hustle Machine podcast.
Yep.
The premise of the show is kind of tongue in cheek. That yes, you need to hustle to hit your goals if you're an entrepreneur or whatever you're trying to do, whatever that it looks like. Yes, hustle, but not at the expense of giving up your family time, giving up your just giving up everything, your holidays, your weekends. Like it's a tongue-in-cheek type of podcast.
You don't have to put your life, like I feel like we talked about this in our lives before when we were doing this back in 2021 on Winject, and then also in our podcast itself. We talked about we were following this advisor, and well, not really advisor, but he was a speaker. He was a very well-known speaker, and we talked to him after a show, and he essentially said, you need to get ready to put your life on hold and make sure that everyone in your life is on board with that so you can hit your goals.
And at the time, you had, I think you had Henry at that time, and I had our first son, our first daughter, our first child.
Because first daughter, you have two. You have more than
I have two. No, but we had our first child as well. So it was a time where putting things on hold was just not an option. And we still made it. We still made things work.
So, it really wasn't, the hustle machine wasn't born out of that moment, but it's born out of that rejection of that mentality. Like your life doesn't have to be that way. We both left very successful careers working full time as like marketing directors, and we turned this side hustle, Market House, which is our agency, into a full-time business a year and a half ago. And we've been doing that full-time ever since. And we have great balance in our life. We're able to, have lunch with our kids. We're able to, do events at the, with our kids at school or go places. Like we have flexibility and freedom that we didn't have before, that we yearned for, and that we would never have put on hold just for the sake of growing a business.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that me and even my wife are talking about now is possibly even, we could theoretically, because we homeschool as well, we could theoretically go wherever we want to, whenever we want to. Get an RV and drive off and work from the road. It's all possible nowadays. And so anyways, that's the Hustle Machine. We also run a company called Market House, website development and marketing agency. And so we're the ones that built Winject Studios, and we are super thrilled to be back and being a part of the live again. So let's just get right into it. So today our podcast launched. We released a new episode today. It's episode 5. So be sure to follow us down low. No, 6. Yeah, you're right. 6. Where am I? Gosh, that's fast.
You're on the see. The thing is I'm always on the left.
Completely.
You're always on the right. My brain is all. Whoo!
Man,
thanks, Chris. I couldn't handle it. I feel
so much better.
I have the wrong mug though.
That would have been crazy, dude. How crazy would it have been if it just switched and we were like, whoa, how'd that happen?
That would have been
great.
But yeah, no. So we about the Hustle Machine podcast, Zack told you a little bit about what it was. A lot of it is insight into what it's like to become an entrepreneur. It's about community and growth as an entrepreneur. It's about how to
It's
be
about drive.
successful.
It's about power.
No, you're co-opting the Winject intro.
No, that was The Rock.
Huh?
I was singing The Rock, man. You ever heard his rap song? It's about drive.
Yeah,
It's about
yeah.
It's the worst song ever. Sorry, Rock. If you're The Rock's never gonna hear this, but it's really not good.
Don't put that out in the universe. I
Just
know
saying.
that he's one of those people who's watching live right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Anyway, so the show, it's all about entrepreneurship, and it's also a lot of banter. It's a lot of back and forth, like we are doing, as we intro the show. Our episode today, because it launches every Wednesday. Our episode today is about committing to goals, and in that we talked about having a really juicy budget. We call it a juicy free budget. We rambled on, and we
that was
talked
my nickname.
about,
Remember, that was my nickname in high school. Juicy
yeah,
Fruit.
I don't remember that being your nickname in high.
Yeah, it was, man. Totally.
Maybe you wished it was your nickname in high school.
No, I don't. I don't want it. No.
Yeah, but we talked about a lot of stuff. We joked around about Joe Rogan and stuff. But like, our show is usually a good mix of fun and also talking about real stuff as it pertains to being an entrepreneur. And so what we're thinking for these Winject exclusives that are coming out on Wednesday mornings as well is that we'll continue that conversation that we start on the podcast. So
we'll just keep it going.
It'll be a great companion piece. So if you like what we're talking about here, you can go and listen to kind of like the full episode and get more detail and insight into
100%
the show.
Yeah. So, like Jason said, we were talking about committing to goals. As we go through this live today, guys, be sure to drop any of your thoughts, your comments.
Mm-hmm.
We want to interact with you. That's what Jason and I also on the Hustle Machine, we do a live on Mondays. I don't know if you said that or not, Jason.
No.
But we do a live on Mondays on our Facebook channel and across a lot of channels. But you can stream that as well. Mm-hmm. We like to interact with our audience. We like to talk to our audience. We want you guys to interact. So do not hesitate. Drop your comments, questions, anything like that. So here's the deal. We talk about committing to goals in this episode today that launched or released today. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the things that, especially when we talk about hustling, goal setting oftentimes with entrepreneurs can get lost.
Yeah.
I remember talking to I'm a part of a group of guys who meets once a month, all entrepreneurs. There's about 6 of us.
Okay.
And the question was asked this past Wednesday. So what do you guys do with goal setting? Do you guys set goals? And everybody, like one of the guys asked that, and he goes, "Because I don't." And then around the table, they said, yeah, they said no. Like pretty much everyone said no. And then they looked at me and I was like, "No, we set goals." And they're like, "Oh, well, what do you guys do?" And so not to like brag or anything like that, but it's just because of where we came from. Like our previous careers brought us into setting goals, making sure that you mark those goals. Like I keep looking up because there's a whiteboard of tasks that need to get done that go to a bigger goal. So there's goals over here and there's tasks and everything throughout that board over there so that I know what I'm working towards every single day. When I sit down, it's only right on the other side of the screen so I can easily see it whenever I need to.
So how are they measuring success? Were they?
That's the thing. That's what I was like. I didn't follow up that because we're still kind of new in this whole thing. So
you got to follow it up with an immediate insult. I don't care if it's
how are you guys measuring it? No, I didn't do that. Like I kept it, cool. Like because we're honestly,
cool, but not really.
Yeah, we're learning, right? We're learning from each other.
Yeah.
But once again, like that was it was ingrained in Jason and I to do that, is to set goals with,
Yeah.
especially when you're marketing directors, you got to know if you don't know where you're going, how do you know you got there?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So
I saw a reel the other day. So let me pause for a second. My reels, it's
they're
been
real.
co-opted. It's been co-opted by like very specific things. So like currently, I get Elon Musk like every other video, some Elon Musk interview, every other video. I get and like entrepreneurs and things like that, which I'm fine with. I also get a lot of teachers, like elementary school teachers, talking about their day. I don't know. I guess it's because we followed that. What's that guy's name? I think his name is Lee McNasty.
Yes.
He's the elementary school teacher. He's always got the phrase,
Why are you up? Why are you up? Now my
Anyway.
kids say it because they've seen some of it. So now, like, my daughter will say it every once in a while. My son will get up and she'll go, "Why are you up?" And I'm like, "Gosh, that is so funny."
So I get those, and I also get a lot of Tom Holland Spider-Man videos. So like that's pretty much my reels. It's like you like one, and then like Instagram is like, you know what? That's all the content that you're gonna get, and just like over and over again. And my wife and I watched Spider-Man: Homecoming last night because we're like rewatching the Marvel series, and I was like, "Crap! I had my phone. I probably should have turned my phone off because now I'm gonna get 70 times more Tom Holland content." Which I guess I'm fine with, but you know, whatever.
If you didn't like it before, you're gonna like it now.
Yeah, right. So that's the kind of content that I've been getting. But I said all that to say I saw this video the other day, and it kind of clicked when we were starting this conversation about goals. And this guy was in this auditorium, and he holds up a piece of paper, and he goes, "Take out a piece of paper," and he goes, "and I want you to write 10 goals on it. And then I want you to write all the steps it's going to take to get to those goals. So, and then all the things that you need to put in place to get to those goals, and all the routines it's going to take to get into those goals. And then break it down by month. Like, what do you need to get done by this certain time to get to those goals? And then you will be successful." Now, he said it obviously way more eloquent than I did. But
yeah, because that was terrible, man.
Shut up. Chris, end the show. I'm done.
He's like, I'm gonna mute me. I'm just kidding. No, it was really good. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So
brought to you by Win.
Yes. So the whole gist of it, and it's funny because all the audience was like, "What?" The whole gist of it is like you have to set a goal, and then you have to work backwards from that goal to see how you are going to
achieve it.
Right. And one of the things that we talked about in the episode this week that I glazed over at the beginning and then gave an apology to later on was SMART goals. Right. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh, I think it's just like specific and measurable, attainable." And then I was like, "I don't remember the rest." And then I ended up looking them up at the end because it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Those are SMART goals. And that's how you need to frame everything when you're trying to plan your future. And if you don't, I don't know, you could still be successful. You could still be wildly successful. But for me, and I think for you as well, it's how do you know when you're living in a successful moment, like truly know that you're living in a successful moment, if you don't have it written down, if you haven't decided on a goal, like if you haven't already predetermined that, like, okay, I'm going to be successful when I've done this thing. Mm-hmm. And I've done all these steps to get to there, because otherwise it feels like I just kind of bumbled into success. You know what I mean? Like if you're not thinking about the steps that it took to get there.
Yeah. And I think oftentimes people feel like they're not successful, but if they wrote things down and looked back over time, they would go like, oh yeah, you know what? I did accomplish that. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I did do this. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
did do that. And then you go, I can keep going.
Mhm.
Because I think sometimes people get into where they'll go, I want to give up, I want to hang the hat up. This isn't working. I feel,
Yeah.
you know, especially as entrepreneurs, you hit these low points
Mhm.
where maybe income is dwindling, business is dwindling a little bit. So you
Yeah.
start to get a little down, like, gosh, this is so draining. I don't know if I can keep going.
Mhm.
But if you knew where you've been and how far you've come in this journey,
Yeah.
man, my hands got really big. If you knew how far my hands, I went too close to the camera.
Well, I thought you meant like as you're talking, your hands are growing.
My hands just enlarged, right? Just, but I think if you saw where you came from,
yeah.
and where you're at now,
Yeah.
you would be so energized to keep going, unless you just haven't gotten very far. And you just like,
Right.
I think of that because like the first time I started my business, this was like 12 years ago.
Mhm.
I had zero clue what I was doing.
Right.
I didn't know. I spent most of the time trying to figure out, okay, I'm going to organize my desk today. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it took a long time to figure out what that was. And I took a step away from it, got into the business world, figuring
Mhm.
out, and that trained me to where I am now. And it's one of the, like, I can look back on the days where we get frustrated
Mhm.
and with something falls through lead wise or like all these things happen, but I can take it back. I can go back and look to where I was 12 years ago, sitting at my desk, starting my day and going, okay, what do I do? You know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna post something on Facebook about what I'm doing today.
Right.
You know what? I need to organize my desktop because you know what I mean? Like I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know anything about marketing at that point. Know nothing about. But I can look back at that and say the times that I am struggling right now,
Mhm.
I've come a massive distance. I
Yeah.
can't stop now.
Can't
But
stop.
if you don't
Won't stop.
if you don't know where your goals are, if you don't know what you're trying to hit, yeah, like I said
Mhm.
before, like how do you know where you're going?
You know, one of the things that we also talked about in the episode that released today was how you keep track of those goals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've looked off camera a couple of times, and I think we mentioned this at the beginning. Like, you keep your goals written down on a whiteboard that's
Eyesight.
literally in front of your desk.
Eyesight. Yeah, but I also I have a notebook that sits next to me where I jot down notes,
Yeah.
or if I'm in the moment and I'm working on something pops in my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what, I got to get that done. I'll
Mhm.
jot it down here, but it does go up there eventually.
Yeah.
And now, and I think one of the things I think we talk in the episode is actually no, we talked about this in episode 5. The way I structure it is I write my top 3 and then I write
Mhm.
5 extra things every day. Here lately, the top 3 things haven't changed, and the top 5 things haven't changed.
Yeah.
Just because they're bigger tasks that have taken more time than I thought they would.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
However,
speaking of that, don't forget to add in the thing that we're releasing today.
yes, just plug that. So really quick, because we're talking about goal setting, because we're talking about planning, one of the things that Jason and I are putting together that we'll be releasing right after the show, this live. So we'll let Chris know where to get it, and we'll have it on our hustle machine and all that sort of stuff as well. Is basically a daily planner, which will have some of the stuff we talked about, how to set priorities. You'll have a calendar in there of the different days of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And
we also include our feedback portion that we talked about
right.
in a couple episodes ago. Stop, start, continue. That'll be in there as well.
Yeah, so this will give you an opportunity to start mapping out your weeks, start mapping out your days. If you haven't done so,
right.
Writing out your top 3, what things needs to happen that day,
Mm-hmm.
In order for you to hit those goals. Because I think we've been talking in the episode of, I mentioned, in that group that I met with those guys, they asked how we set our goals, and I said we have a yearly goal. We break them down by quarter, we break them down by month, we break them down by week, and that keeps us on track. Plus, our awesome project manager Bree, shout out to Bree, she helps us keep us in that flow. So when we sit down to talk to other clients, we already know what's in place and when we can get things done. And that keeps us on track and on pace to get us to that yearly goal we want to hit.
I think for me, and I would be interested to see if any of those who are listening and watching right now, what is more motivating for you, the little goals or the big goals? Because for me, it's the little goals. I like being able to have like a huge long list of things that I've got to do, and then be able to be like, finished them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because that is like, oh, man, I just crossed off like 37 things off my list. Not really, but man, I would love to cross off 37 things on a list. But for me, it's those little wins that really motivate you to like keep trucking along. So those are the things that motivate me. And I know on the show, we talked about different ways that we keep track. And I know you have your big whiteboard. I want to share this thing that I just got. It's super cool. I got it on Amazon. I saw an ad for it on Instagram, and it was like but I knew it was like for some drop shipping service, and they were just upcharging it. So I just went on Amazon and found like the actual product for like $30 cheaper. Anyway, so it's like it's a desktop organizer. And, but the cover of it is glass. And so this is this is what I use to keep all of my immediate daily tasks detailed on. And then it's got a little organizer inside of it to put stuff in, which I don't have anything in it. But I love this because it's right at my hands. I can easily go, what are my tasks for today? Have them all written down. I prefer to have them written down in front of me. We do have project management software, which we can talk about in a minute. But I like to have them right at hand, and then I just erase them, go done, 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 done. I love to run down the list, and I'm liking this method more so than like the cards or notebook that I usually use.
Yeah, Chris commented hitting small goals or hitting small targets is what works for me. Give me what I need to stay aligned to my overall goal. That's exactly what we're talking about. Yeah, so that's exactly what works for me. And I know for Jason. I'm not saying we do it perfect. I'm not saying that I keep my board perfect, but I will say that when I get that updated and I fix that, and I know that if I start to feel myself getting overwhelmed, which may happen once a week or once a day. No, I'm just kidding. When I do feel overwhelmed, I take order of where I'm at and look at my board and say, this hasn't been updated. No wonder it's all swimming in my head. So I go back and look at my notes on my notebook. I go back to my board, make sure that it's all straightened out.
Yeah.
And that helps me refocus, recenter to make sure I hit those goals. And so that's why we want to put together that planner for you guys to be able to use
for free.
You
don't even need to give us
absolutely
information or anything. Just go to the site
give
and
it to
you. So before we end, I want to talk about, because I feel like this is something that I've always struggled with, and I'm sure there's other people out there, is finding the best way to organize your brain and get your goals structured. Now, whether they're small goals, big goals, or in-betweeny goals, I have always had a hard time with that. Years ago, when Trello was in beta, I was like, found the solution. I'm using this. And I just thought
my thoughts on Trello.
Well, I mean, I do not actually.
Yeah, I don't like it. And I think it's in my defense, the reason I don't is because the way it was introduced to me and the way I was needing to use it for a certain company. I just didn't like the way that it was set up originally and the way it
Yeah.
was flowing then. That's why.
Yeah. So, I mean, I went with Trello. We've bounced over to Monday.com. We
used a line. We used a
Yeah.
line at one point.
We used Clickable. Not Clickable, ClickUp.
ClickUp.
We've used several, and now we're using the one that's built into our CRM. But this is a problem. I think it's consistent for a lot of people. It's really hard to find a system that works well for you because they're all so different. And if something doesn't feel like, man, this is just isn't, I'm having a hard time, getting my thoughts down, being consistent with it. Those are all things that are very realistic, difficult things. For one, I would say push yourself a little bit. Don't just give up, because I've done that several times. So I'm just like, I can't do this. It's not working for me. My brain works differently, and just using that cop out. So try and give it a little bit more effort. Try and give it like a month after it's like just not working. And if it's not working, migrate that stuff over to a new system. Go to paper. Try our little, our printout planner. Try a whiteboard, whatever it is. Find a system that really works for you, that helps you not only get your goals on paper, but then align your process to make sure you're achieving those.
Yeah, because I think, and you can upgrade too, because like what you did, I think before you just had sticky notes, right?
Yeah, I literally had a desk covered in
stickies.
sticky notes. And the thing is, I would finish it or I'd move on, and they would just be covered with other sticky notes. And then so every several months, I would go through my desk, collect all the sticky notes, and I promise you, I wouldn't even know what 3/4 of them meant or said, because they're just scribbled down, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. So I would say for me, what works is to have your big goals in a project management software. It's like, hey, I need to finish this by these dates. These are the big ones. And then my immediate goals, what do I have to get done today?
Your dailies, yeah.
I keep these right at my hands, so they're right in front of my face. I think Chris put up, you commented something here. What would you say is the most pervasive issue when it comes to goal setting or staying on target?
I can respond to that.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest things is becoming reactionary to anything that comes in your way, instead of staying focused on what those big goals are. The big new shiny thing happens, or the big panic button is pushed, and now you're fixing things. Jason, that happens to you a lot.
Guilty. It happens to me daily.
Yeah, which I've learned. I'm not saying to do it perfect either, but I've learned not to bother Jason with something that I know if he's focused on something else, I need to hold on to something and wait. Yeah. Right? Because Jason's reactionary. I think we all are to an extent. That's why, you hear all these gurus talk about to be productive, you need to turn off your email, you need to turn off your phone, you need to turn off all these things so you can stay focused on what you're working on. So you're not reactionary, because we're reactionary people. And especially now that we have technology on our wrist, on our phone, I would say most people get notifications every minute. There's probably something popping up on your phone, whether it's news, whether it's social media, whether it's a text message, whether it's an email. And what do? We can't wait for it.
Yeah,
we can't.
That's literally as you're having this conversation, my notifications started going off because I'm muted by notifications for a certain amount of minutes, and it ended right when you're talking about things popping up and getting in your distracting you. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, what did this person say? I need to mute this now. It needs to go away, because my brain was like, I'm having a conversation right now, but I need to make this go away. So I still had to address
our brains do that. And I think with a lot of the, because I don't remember that being such a big deal when we were kids. Now, I need to talk to my parents about that. Was there a lot of things that would distract you and pull? I think it's a bigger problem today.
Yeah.
because of all the technology and how we have everything readily available to us. And
well, because everything's got a ding or a, or everything, like everything has got something that's. Wait,
one of the things I like about you call me an Apple fanboy, but I like the new operating system on the phone and on your watch and on your computer, where you have these focus modes, and now you can schedule them and set them for certain times and turn things off and turn things on to notify you what's the most important things. For example, like at the end of the day, I try to make sure I put my phone in family mode. So I'm not getting text messages or emails and all. I can shut down from work and go spend time with family. And I don't have a bunch of things pinging me. When I go to work out, I don't want to be distracted when I work out. I want to be in the moment and focus when I'm working out. I'm in there for 30, 45 minutes and then I'm out. I don't want a bunch of distractions. So when I hit my thing that's on my watch, when I say I'm working out, it immediately turns to that focus mode for that workout. And
if that works for you, go for it.
So you're right. Well, I had to minimize. There was a time where I had so many notifications pinging me constantly, and my wife was like, "Just turn them off." I was like, "Yeah, but I'll miss something." And it was like stupid stuff, like the Weather Channel. Do I need to know when it's raining? I can look out the window and I can see that it's raining. I don't need you to tell me on my phone or my watch that it's raining. Yes, Chris says FOMO is a You are not kidding, man.
That's a t-shirt idea. The first piece of merch coming out of the Winject store. FOMO
Hats,
is a mofo.
Mugs.
That would make a killer hat. Like offset. I'm big into offset designs on hats, but
not me. I like symmetry.
Yeah.
So foam.
I could tell by your background.
Yeah, can you see that? I like symmetry.
Yeah.
But yeah, fear of missing out is a serious problem. Like, and I fall captive to that on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And I think that right there would, to answer your original question, we've kind of gone around to get to it, but I personally think the most pervasive issue is distractions and being reactionary.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. And that is literally my biggest problem is I have to put blinders on because I'll go through my day will start with like a list of things I need to do, but it never ever fails that within the first couple hours I'm pivoting and working on something else, and by lunchtime I've lost sight of what I was starting my day with, and then I spend the back half of the day trying to fix whatever popped up midday and then going back to fix or finish the thing that I started that morning. So not everybody's day is going to be like that. Because I handle, a lot of the technical sides of the business when it comes to development. That tends to just be my lot in life. But Zach's right.
Now.
Like I have to be Zach's got like, I know he's probably got like a book, and it's like, okay, I need to tell Jason about this. Is he working on something? No. Okay. I gotta wait. He's like, I gotta put the book away. Can't tell Jason yet because Jason will start working on it like instantly.
Or if I'm like, I need you to look at this. Don't worry about it right now. It's not, and I do that sometimes. I'll send you a message and I'll say, I'm putting it here for us to remember to go back to this. I don't need you to look at it right now. If you're in the middle of something, don't worry about it. Yeah. I just don't want to forget, so I'm gonna put it here.
Yeah.
And there's several times Jason's like, you can't do that to me.
You can't just put it. It's like saying, hey, I've got this box over here.
It's like that experiment with the kids with the marshmallow. It's like, I have one marshmallow here. In just a minute, I'll give you 2 marshmallows if you don't touch this one, and you can have 2 marshmallows.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for you.
Yeah, it is. I'm like that. The dog from Up, squirrel. Yeah, no, that's definitely my brain and how it works. Well, I think it was good. I think it was a good episode. I think we did a good job. We unpacked kind of like what our Hustle Machine brand is. We
Pat
talked
yourself
about
on the back.
we talked about the goal setting planner that we're releasing over on hustle-machine.com on our website. It'll be over there for free. No strings attached. Just go and help yourself build your business and make yourself better. And then we also did a good job of kind of talking about what we talked in our episode that released this morning, and then talking about even more stuff as it pertains to goals, committing to goals. Shout out to Chris for helping keep that conversation going with those prompts.
Yeah. So be sure to follow us. You can see it right now on the ticker.
Mm-hmm.
That's everything you need. Go and follow, like, share, all the things. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Hit that little bell so you never miss it on YouTube. Because we do our show is on YouTube as well. So we do live streams on Mondays. Our show releases every Wednesday. And we are here on Wednesdays on Winject to talk further. So be sure you go and listen to it on Wednesday morning so that when we come into these live streams, you know exactly what we're talking about and you can contribute easily. So
right. And then don't forget to check out all the rest of the amazing artists and content happening over at Winject Studios throughout the
100%.
week. You've got great artists. Shout out to one of my personal faves, Nina Perez. Her show is on show's on Monday. That's right. So don't miss her content. Go over to winject.com and learn about what the community can do for you as a creator and podcaster, and how you can launch your show. And if you're just a listener, you can get connected with exclusive content and things like that. So don't miss a beat over at winject.com. Check us out at Hustle Machine Podcast on Instagram. And I guess until next week.
That's right, man.
We'll see you. Cheers.
Unless you see us on Monday.
Bye, guys.
Cast is brought to you by Winject Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love, then we're ready to see you there.